A friend, relative, or community member dying is of special significance to First Nations and Métis peoples. It evokes special responsibilities and obligations that the living feel they have toward those who are about to enter the spirit world. We hope this video will give healthcare providers some insights into those feelings, and that you will find ways to respect those traditions. We ask you to listen to the following First Nations and Métis men and women to help you develop further insights into the meaning of dying. It is our hope that these messages will help generate a broader understanding of the meaning of passing from this world to that of the spirit world.
When we are born, the day is set for us when to go. The Lord writes it down up here for us when to go, you know.
They all believe that death is one of the greatest things that God put on earth, is birth and death.
I think the important thing for the healthcare providers to know is that for Aboriginal people, death is a part of life. It's a part of living, and it's necessary as birth. Our belief is what we do here affects them over there, and what they do over there affects us here. So we want to keep that communication open and well between the two worlds. So how we conduct ourselves here when they pass on is an important thing. To be respectful to that person, and also to be respectful of everybody around you, that everybody goes through that journey differently. Everybody mourns differently, and just because someone doesn't mourn the way you do doesn't mean to say it's wrong. It's just their way. Now we have rooms and hospitals where you can go. We have a room now that we can go do ceremony in Saskatoon and in Regina, and but not right in the rooms where the patients are. I know a lot of hospitals, yet we can't burn sweetgrass.
I know when I got sick and I was in Wynyard Hospital, there was a special room there where I went and eat with all my grandchildren. But you got to ask, huh? And I didn't know that there. You know, something like that, it's gotta take place. And I think they're not providing that information that should be provided to the people, you know.
The family have that right and the privilege to prepare themselves and the person that's gonna leave for another world, to go into another world. And I think Indian families, in a traditional way, believe that when they gather together at the deathbed, and they're praying in their own way. And even today, like even in the hospitals, if we go and somebody's dying and we ask, can we go? No. You know, they're in their last hour. So what? That's why we want to be there. We want to be there when they're dying, yeah? Just a family, just a husband or this. And I've seen that when my niece died last year. We demanded to be there in that room where she was dying. We had a heck of a time for them to allow us to all go in there and pray, huh?
These people stay in the hospital, their loved ones that are sick or dying, and they know that that their loved one is very, very sick, and they know that they've only got a few days left. But some of them don't stay there just for the death of the individual. They stay there because of me and you, who need their support and love of one another. And the doctors and the nurses misinterpret that. They're there for the living. And they don't understand that. And so what they want to do is trying to get rid of those people, and those people say, no, we can't go because there's still our relatives there who need us.
It's because sometimes things are said and done that we don't understand why. For instance, just the fact that the person is dying, yet they want to maintain all this fancy stuff right to the end, and it doesn't give a person a chance to be with family. Or one of the things I don't understand is this 5-minute rule with person who's dying. It's to let everyone should, extended family as well. Not they'll say just family, and there's like 30 people out there that want to be in that room, because it's important that everybody gives their energy at that time to that person. It's not that they're they need to rest. They're dying. It's an important thing to know that I guess from my point of view, I just look at it differently. I don't understand the whole concept of keeping it down to a few people and not allowing the things to happen that would happen if they were at home. And if they were, like it was years ago. It doesn't happen that way anymore.
I believe that they need to be taught compassion when they're training. Maybe they do, but not in a natural way, not in a way that the Creator would want us to care. But of course, a lot of them are different religions, but I think that they should respect Aboriginal people and Indian people when they have the sick in the hospitals, and if they have to pray in their own way. Like we can get elders to come in and pray for somebody that's dying, and you don't have to understand what they're saying. Even if they burn sweetgrass and smuds somebody, it was still done long ago. I can't see why it can't be done in the hospitals when our Indian people are dying.
Like my dad knew he was going to go. My mother also. And he said, I want all of you here. He said, it's not going to be very long now. My mother said, in 3 days, when you come now, I want to hear, I want to talk to all of you. So we knew, he told us.
When my dad died, he had us there and my mother, and he talked to us. He talked, and he said, "Don't cry, don't cry." He said, "I'm going back to where God is," and then that gives you a good feeling, like, don't cry. I'm going to go to a better place.
If you cry, he said in Cree, you're going to hold me back. You're going to hold me back when I'm going.
That's preparing for death, telling you this is what you have to do, stick together as a family.
Well, I think it's better to work on both ways, with a doctor and with our Indian culture,
Let the haircut professionals be educated enough to know that there are people out there in those communities who also can care for these people. Ask them if they will ask them to come in. Elders, priests, spiritual leaders, women who are very strong in their medicine, they're out there waiting to be called. And sometimes these healthcare professionals will not allow them to come in because it takes away their power and control and their role.
I would say compassion with kindness, Say, look, I don't think your child is going to last long. Anything you want us to do to provide for you, getting the last few hours with your dear one. Do you want somebody else to come and be with you? And it could be our Indian ministers, it could be our elders.
We can't have young women coming in on their moon time. And although maybe the nurses will say they don't, but your cleaning staff could, So those are things that I think we have to really know, that at a time of a person passing away, when that's going to give you comfort and it's not there, and it sets your mind and your emotional body heals. You see, it's not just a physical healing that we look at. You can be dying and healing, do the most healing you ever can in that point in time, because you're healing emotionally and mentally. And so we look on that as the person is healing, and they go into that other world healed. They're whole then. And it's a time of sadness for people, but still a sign and a time of joy, because that person has made that transition in a whole manner, as opposed to leaving being emotionally and mentally unwell. And the importance of women and how women have a very important role to fulfill on earth. And it's not so much as a thing that for Western people, they look at it as something that's not allowed, but our women look at it as it's a gift that we want to do the proper thing with that gift. So by not being around sacred objects of other people, we're respecting ourselves, and we're respecting that gift the Creator gave us as women. And so that's how my people look on it. It's not something that's not allowed, but it's within the women themselves, how they feel about. It's only respectful that you take care of that gift, and you nurture it, and you keep it well. And by keeping it well is by keeping away from other people's sacred things. So it's a powerful time for a woman, very powerful time.
Help us to feel, help us and listen to us as the First Nations people as we talk from our heart rather than from our mind. And we may talk like simple, uneducated individuals, but we're not. We're very articulate, deeply spiritual, intelligent people. But we don't talk from here. We talk from our heart, especially as a loved one laying there dying. And we want them to hear that.
Some of the other ways that I know of people doing things, and one that I particularly know of, this auntie, her nephew was passing away, and it was very important to her that she take him his food. She wanted to prepare his food for the last 2 weeks of his life, and it was a very difficult thing for her because the hospital wouldn't allow her to do that. They didn't want her bringing in, because he was hooked up to machines, and they had him on a certain diet, and I guess the diet, if he would have been one to prolong his life, but he was dying, and the auntie knew that, and that was her way of giving him sustenance before he, you know, passed on.
And not many of our Indian people get that privilege because they don't force and say, look, I need to be there, you know. And I think the nurses too have to respect. They don't know our traditional ways. They don't know what's going on here. But for God's sakes, give us a chance to explain it and do it in a way that it's going to be acceptable to the nurses and the hospitals.
Allow them to do it with dignity, allow them room, allow them that time to be able to do it in their way without feeling like they have to do it the way healthcare wants them to do it now. Because person should be able to make that transition with ease and with a feeling of dignity and a feeling of mental and emotional wellness. And if there's something that's preventing that, then you're not going with ease. You die hard.
The elder has to talk to the people, and he's got to might say a prayer, you know, a prayer so he'll go nice, go leave the earth nice. Like in a funeral, long time ago, in a funeral, when we have a funeral, there used to be an elder that used to sing a song.
And the prayers of the community are lifted up. The prayers of our smudge is lifted up.
We came from somewhere and we'll go somewhere, because that life force, that life energy doesn't dissipate. It just moves on. And when the body can no longer sustain that life force, then that's what happens. And many times the body is too broken or diseased or ill to maintain that life force, so it has no choice but to go on. And I think that's an important thing to remember, and an important thing for people to know is it's in the cycle of life. It's on the medicine wheel, and it continues.
There's different ceremonies, such as feast, when we were mentioning death. So I had a feast for my son for 4 years. Every the day he died. For 4 years we put a feast up, called everybody. That's what's been going on. And right after his death, again, we had to make a fire for 4 days by his gravesite.
An elder used to sing a song, a farewell song, leaving the earth, going to heaven. That was it. Today you don't hear that. Today you don't hear that. I sang a song over there after they buried Leslie. I sang a song over there, a farewell song. And I talked to him, I prayed to go straight. Don't look back. Not to look back. I was just a young 17, 13, 14, I think 15. That's when I started going to these funeral services, Indians, you know. That's where I used to hear that. So one day, I was here on this reserve. That song came to my head. That song came to my head. I still know that song today.
Everybody would have their own way of doing big things. Everyone would have their own journey, and it's never going to look the same. It's not like taking the number 1 to Regina, you know, and you're going to see certain things along the way or encounter certain things along the way. Everyone, because the Creator made us so unique that even that way of going is unique. So there's not one way of doing it. Everyone will have their own.
Hey,